I was a much bigger pain in the ass if they tried to shoot on me. So they just kind of started working with me. And that was a different time. That was in the early '90s. So it was a much different industry back then. As far as what happened with Sexy Star, it wasn't like it wasn't like a shoot scenario where they were like going toe to toe with each other. Rosemary trusted her to do something, and Sexy Star kind of broke that bond of trust and like went out there and tried to hurt her. So that situation definitely needs to be addressed, and that's just like somebody that's being dishonest and being a cruel person for no reason other than a selfish gain. So. Definitely she needs to, something needs to be done about that, but I'm not sure what the answer is, other than that's not somebody I would ever book or use my promotion ever, is a Sexy Star chick at all.
I mean, that's the thing. It's right there. That right there, you make that decision. That's a career killer. I mean, I don't know what's going through your mind at the time when you're doing something like that. Have you ever worked for AAA?
No, I never have. Anytime I've worked in Mexico, it was with WWE. And I don't know if I don't think it's something you blame on the company. It's something that one person did, and it might not necessarily be representative of the company. And maybe it's something like, if it's something like she apologizes for it, but it sounds to me like, if I've read it correctly, she put out a statement, and it made her kind of seem, pretty bad as it is. So it could be a career killer. Yes, you're right. So, we'll see.
All right, McGregor-Mayweather, what were your thoughts? Did you get to see it? Were you interested in it at all?
Oh, I loved it. I loved every second of it. I thought it was hugely entertaining. And I thought, Conor, in his first professional first professional boxing contest, I thought he did outstanding considering he was in there with, the best defensive fighter of all time. And I was very entertained by it. I think if Conor would have won, I would have loved the chaos that would have ensued after that, because it would have just been one of the biggest upsets in sports history, and upsets are the most exciting thing in sports anyway, so that would have been fine, but I never thought he was going to actually win. Mayweather 49-0 at a just a world-class elite level, and that wasn't by accident. Conor only had a puncher's chance, and that was against a fighter who never even been knocked down. And, I had friends that bet on Conor, and I had one friend that bet big money thinking that Conor was going to win by knockout. And I explained to him just what I said, like, Mayweather's never even been knocked down. What are you talking about being knocked out? I think the worst I've ever seen him really stunned was by Sugar Shane Mosley, and he recovered from that pretty well, and I think that's the most damage that I can personally recall ever seeing him in. He's just a guy that he can take punches, but at the same time, he doesn't even get hit a lot, period. And when he does, he handles it well. So, Conor put in some work early, but Mayweather did what he does. He kind of weathers the storm and then finishes good. He's not undefeated by accident, like I said.
Strategic fighter, great defense. That's been Mayweather's MO right there. But it's interesting because when I'm reading on the internet after, and a couple people I know and have seen it out there, it just seems like, too, when you're involved in pro wrestling, that you tend to believe more that things are more work. Even, not just this boxing match, but even other things that happen. And I just find that a little difficult more so to swallow, especially in big money events, because there's more to lose and there's more trouble to get into and more FBI and law enforcement and IRS, even though they'll get involved anyway, and all these different factors that I can't see, at least the bigger events, the Super Bowls, the World Series, all these different things, the McGregor-Mayweather, that the things are work. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap, but the thing is, if there's no way to prove it, then why even go down that road? You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll just talk. If you have that conversation with somebody, you both would just be going in circles. It couldn't have been booked better. Both guys came out looking fantastic. Boxing looks great. Boxing, got a lot of hype. And boxing's kind of been struggling for many years with some good hype. You really got to be a dedicated boxing fan to, there's not really a lot been going on for many years, I mean, you got the Triple G fight. That was going to be awesome. And coming off the Anthony Joshua beating Clip, there's a lot of steam behind boxing. The most I remember in a while, anyway. With the only mar being Pacquiao getting, that decision, which seemed unjust at the time. But like I said, MMA came out looking great. Boxing came out looking great. Both guys came out looking like stars. Like, I mean, it was kind of, you would think, like, man, this could have been written better, but why go down that conversation? There's no way to prove it, so it's kind of a pointless conversation to have.
Would you see Conor McGregor? What would you do with him if he was on one of your wrestling shows?
I'd sell some tickets, that's what I would. Just let him talk. Whoever he wants to go with, let him go, because he was the attraction, people pay to see Mayweather get beat. Mayweather's not the exciting guy. He's the exciting talker, but he's not an exciting fighter. Pretty Boy Floyd was exciting back in the day. Money Mayweather, he just really became super defensive in his last, the last, whatever, 10 or so fights. I think with McGregor, you just let him talk, let him do his thing. And for the most part, he delivers. That's the thing. A lot of people call it talking trash, but it's not trash if he delivers. Then it's just stating facts. When he was talking all that stuff about, Jose Aldo, and then he went out there and dropped him in 13 seconds, well, it's not trash talking then. He said exactly how he was going to beat him, and he did it. So, he's a great personality, ton of charisma, and he delivers when it's time to perform. Even in a loss, his losses are exciting. You know what I mean? I mean, his loss to Nate Diaz was exciting, and then the comeback from that was exciting. So if he's on my card, he's the champ.
Nah, Nate Diaz, him and McGregor, a couple of good battles between those guys. Nate Diaz is another one, man. He doesn't. That guy, you just let that guy go. He's amazing in there, man. He's an animal in there. It's just great. And putting those two together, I'd like to see it again, actually. That would be really cool. What do you got for social media for you, and anything else coming up for you that you want to get out there?
Yeah, let me touch on this real quick. I think McGregor made Nate a bigger star than he was before. I think if Conor would have won that first fight, Nate would have been gone. Nate has never been a world champion, and I doubt very seriously he's ever going to be. And I mean, I've seen Nate get murdered by people. Rory McDonald beat him like a drum. I mean, really bad. So he's had some good moments, but he's had some really lackluster performances too. So I really don't care about a third fight with them. I think Conor needs to move on to bigger and better things.
And now social media.